Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Infernus, and welcome back to another comic book review. This is one that I've admittedly been really looking forward to doing because this was one of my most anticipated comic book movies of the year, Blue Beetle. Now, I wouldn't say I have an extremely strong connection to the character of Jaime Reyes or Blue Beetle, but I do have a decent amount of nostalgia for the character thanks to the fact that when I was younger, my family used to go to the library and we'd rent the volumes of Batman the Brave and the Bold. I even got a poster of that show that has Blue Beetle in it. So yeah, I do have a good amount of nostalgia for the character, but I wouldn't say I have the strongest connection. That being said, the trailers looked fun, and just getting one of my favorite things about this movie out of the way, damn this suit. This has to be one of the best comic book movie suits I've ever seen. Like yeah, sure, it's got a lot of competition in with Marvel, but little else in DC manages to look this damn good, especially full body costumes like this. Mm, so good. And it's a practical suit too, so don't have to worry about CGI that much. Can cut some costs there. Just make a practical suit. Give the computers a rest. But looking at the guy inside the suit, I remember people were really excited for Zolo Maranduena. I'm still shocked that I can pronounce that as fluidly as I can. There are some really long words that I can actually pronounce really well, and I'm still shocked that I can. Like rhombicosite dodecahedron. I wish you the best of luck in looking that up. But yeah, I know a lot of people were excited to see Zolo Maranduena, become the role, or at least take on the role of Jaime Reyes, mainly because they remember seeing him in Cobra Kai. I don't have like with Blue Beetle, I don't have a connection to the Karate Kid or Cobra Kai, but he did look like a pretty decent actor for the role. I mean, he did at least look like the character from Brave and the Bold. That's a plus. But I find that in the actual movie, he does pretty well. He's got some nice youthful charm to him and acts very much as one would when an alien suit takes over their body and subsequently when they have an alien lodged in their spine. Part of me wonders if that's practical like the suit is, but I wouldn't blame them if it was a CGI thing. Yeah. And I also appreciate that in a way, he's kind of a pacifist. Well, not really. He does beat up the bad guys, but he tries to do it in the most non-lethal way possible. And I can at least appreciate someone who's trying to do the right thing as painlessly as he possibly can, given that the suit is pretty much designed to kill. Even moving over to some of the other characters in the movie, Jenny Cord was another standout. I just want to say before I talk about her that I love how they were able to almost seamlessly weave Ted Cord into the mix. For those who don't know, no, nor for those who don't know, for those who don't know, Ted Cord is another one of the Blue Beetles in the comics. At least I think he is. Let me just give that a quick Google search. I'm probably going to delete this take. Yeah, he's another one of the Blue Beetles, and I find it really impressive that they were able to, in a sense, weave him into the movie without directly putting him in the movie. The villain is his sister, Victoria Cord. We'll get to her soon. But the one that we primarily focus on is actually his daughter, Jennifer, whichever you prefer to call her. And I find that her relationship with Jaime is actually pretty nice. On the one hand, the fact that she is in such a high position at, I forget what the freaking corporation is. What was it? Cord Industries? I think it might have been Cord Industries. Feel free to correct me. But yeah, given that she's part of the Cord family, of course, she has a lot of access to all the different sort of gadgets in Cord Industries, and like the whole first half of the movie is trying to help Jaime get the scarab out of his back. Not saying I blame him. And she's able to help him on that quest while in a way also being a very sweet love interest. Like, I think a lot of us saw that romance coming, but it was still fairly nice, and at least one of the nicer moments in the movie, or at least one of the nicer things about it. I also liked one of the not Victoria Cord as the antagonist, but Conrad Carapax was a big standout to me, mainly because he is this nearly indestructible weapon. but at the same time, he's able to have some last minute redemption due to the idea of the correlation between family and strength. He believes that a love for your family makes you weak, but Jaime is able to prove to him that that's wrong, and they're able to give him some redemption near the end of the movie where he ends up using Victoria's own philosophy against her, which is just lovely. The last thing I'll mention for the good stuff is that the humor is fairly nice. Not all the jokes land, but most of them do warrant a chuckle. There are some, like, there's nothing that's completely laugh out loud, but still some pleasant humor here and there. Now, one thing that this movie has been getting praised a lot for is the family dynamics. The fact that this is a movie that's very central on family and familial themes. And yeah, I can appreciate that. At the same time, the family was also my biggest problem with this movie, and probably the reason why it's getting a lower score than all the points I previously talked about would indicate. So, yes, this is normally I do like movies where it's all about the family. Guardians of the Galaxy, if you want to count that, Encanto, Coco, movies like that. But here's the thing, in those movies, the family was likable and didn't make stupid decisions that were responsible for the most of the entire conflict of the film. Here, when Jaime brings that scarab home, the first thing they do is pressure him into opening that box, which leads to the scarab going in his back. Maybe I'd be more forgiving if that whole situation was more a result of Jaime's own curiosity, but he specifically told them, no, this person who trusts me told me not to open the box. But what do? They pressure him into opening the box, which leads to all the horrible things that happen to them in the movie. It's decisions like that that can really ruin a film for someone, and this is no exception. And the worst part, they actually get mad at Jenny over it. Yeah, they get mad at Jenny for something that they did. Just, I'd love to use some really fruitful language, but that would be breaking my rules hard. No worries, it wasn't going to be anything offensive. Just a certain four-letter word that with a couple exceptions, I have forbidden myself from using in these videos. You probably know what I'm talking about. Probably the worst family member in this case is Rudy. Like, he has some funny moments, and George Lopez does give a decent performance, but he's probably the one who treats Jenny the worst out of all of them, followed by Millie, who I also found to be kind of annoying. In fact, the whole family was kind of annoying at times, but I can overlook that when in comparison to how they practically pressured Jaime, I called him Jamie, god damn it, how they pressured Jaime into getting an alien stuck in his back. I will never get over that. At the same time, he also just says a lot of things that just cause my eyes to just roll by themselves. And lastly, there is the villain Victoria Cord. While I do like how she's connected to a blue version of Blue Beetle who isn't Jaime Reyes, and they do play her up as this villain who has this really, I I guess, toxic philosophy of sacrifices must be great for the greater good, which again, thankfully, Conrad uses against her in the end. But at the same time, I feel like they tried way too hard to make her unlikable. Like, they really force the sort of parallels between the Reyes family and the Cord family, whereas one isn't very rich, but at least they have each other, whereas the other one is very rich, but they couldn't give less of a shit about each other and their relationships to one another. Like, by the end of the movie, Vicky's just saying, screw the family. Like, screw the family, I have my research and I'm happy. Like, yeah, y'all, you guys, you're kind of trying too hard. Not nearly as hard as Mutant Mayhem was to be cool, but still pretty damn hard. The thing that really sucks is I was really hoping that I loved this movie. Like, really, I wanted to love this movie because this is a character that I have a decent amount of nostalgia for. And the trailers looked awesome. But at the end of the day, the thing that the movie is getting praised the most for is ultimately what killed it for me. Yes, it's a very family centric movie, and I appreciate that, but when the family is so unlikable when they make this really stupid decision, what's even the point anymore? Like, that's ultimately what killed it for me. Like, and again, if the scarab getting stuck in Jaime's back was a result of his curiosity, well, the whole movie would have been a 3. But as it is, with how frustrating and annoying it was at times, I gotta give it a 2. Like, I was hoping that I'd leave the theater with a 4 in mind. Hell, I'd even be happy with a 5. A 5 probably would have been unlikely, but a 4 seems pretty reasonable. Seems like a long shot now. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for my review of Blue Beetle. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. I'm not going to bore you with all the generic stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and Godspeed.